Lucas held his mother Anna's hand tightly as they entered the elegant restaurant in the city center. It was a busy place, full of well-dressed patrons and hushed conversations between tables. For Lucas, this moment was special. His mother had promised that if he improved his reading at school, they would go out to celebrate. And he did it. After weeks of effort and perseverance, despite his cerebral palsy that made speaking and movement difficult, Lucas was proud of himself. "Are you ready, champ?" Anna asked with a smile, trying to hide her concern that something could go wrong. She knew how cruel the world could be to people like Lucas. They were guided to a table near the window. Lucas looked around, enchanted by the atmosphere. He wanted to try the burger he had seen on the menu online, but speaking in public was a challenge. His mother smiled encouragingly. "You can do it, my love. Take your time." When the waiter arrived, his rigid posture and impatient expression caused Anna some discomfort. He tapped his notepad on the table with a forced smile. "So what will you have?" Lucas took a deep breath and tried to speak, but his words came out trembling and jumbled. "I would like burger." He struggled, but the tension made it even harder. The waiter rolled his eyes and let out a short, contemptuous laugh. "Look, kid, we don't have all day. Can't you speak properly? Do you need a translator?" Anna's eyes widened in shock as Lucas lowered his head, struggling to hold back tears. Other patrons began to pay attention, but no one intervened. The silence in the room was as awkward as the waiter's cruel words. "Listen," Anna began, trying to stay calm, "don't talk to my son like that. He has cerebral palsy and is doing his best. Show a little respect." The waiter shrugged, clearly uninterested. "I'm just doing my job, ma'am. If he can't order, maybe you should speak for him." At that moment, Lucas couldn't hold back his tears. He felt the eyes on him like arrows, each one loaded with judgment and pity. He didn't want to be a burden. He just wanted to feel like any other kid celebrating an achievement. That's when the restaurant door opened again, and a man with a calm and discreet demeanor entered. He didn't immediately draw attention, but something about his presence seemed to radiate calm. Wearing jeans and a leather jacket, Keanu Reeves walked to a nearby table, observing the scene with attentive eyes. Although no one else seemed to take action, he seemed incapable of ignoring what was happening. He picked up the menu, but his focus was entirely on the small table where Lucas was silently crying. Something needed to be done, and he knew he couldn't just sit and watch. Keanu Reeves settled at a table in the corner of the restaurant, from where he had a clear view of the scene that troubled him. He saw the little boy with glasses, his hands trembling slightly as he tried to hide the tears streaming down his face. Beside him, his mother, clearly shaken, tried to console her son while also containing her indignation at the waiter. It was one of those moments when the world seemed divided into two groups. Those who looked on but did nothing and those who chose to step in. Keanu knew which group he wanted to be in. He raised his eyes to the waiter, who now stood with his arms crossed, wearing an expression that mixed boredom and irritation. Despite the growing discomfort among the patrons who were watching, no one said anything. The restaurant, usually buzzing with conversation, was steeped in a suffocating silence, broken only by Lucas's muffled sobs. Keanu closed the menu and took a deep breath. He had always preferred to act away from the spotlight, but at that moment, there was no room for hesitation. He calmly got up and walked toward Lucas's table. "Excuse me," Keanu said in a soft but firm voice, addressing Anna and Lucas. His presence was both discreet and magnetic, and Anna looked at him, surprised. Lucas slowly lifted his eyes, his face still wet with tears. Keanu smiled at Lucas and crouched down to be at the boy's level. "Hi, my name is Keanu. I saw you trying to order earlier and well, I thought you were very brave." Lucas blinked, confused as he tried to process what was happening. Was it just him or did this man look familiar? Anna opened her mouth to say something, but Keanu continued. "You know, sometimes people forget that everyone has their own battles to fight. And just because something is harder for someone doesn't mean they're worth any less. In fact, what you just did was incredible. I bet it's not easy to speak in a place like this, with everyone watching." Lucas managed a small, timid smile. Anna felt a lump in her throat, grateful for the unexpected kindness. Keanu looked at the waiter, who now seemed even more uncomfortable. Without losing his calm, Keanu stood up and walked directly toward him. "Do you have a minute?" he asked, with a kindness that sounded almost like a warning. The waiter hesitated but nodded, following Keanu to a slightly secluded area. Keanu crossed his arms and looked directly into the man's eyes. "I used to work as a waiter, you know? I understand it's not an easy job, especially in a busy place like this. But what I just witnessed wasn't just rude, it was cruel. Look, I didn't mean to offend, the waiter began, but Keanu raised a hand, cutting him off. Whether or not you meant to offend, what you did affected that boy. He came here to celebrate something important to him, and you turned it into a humiliating experience. And do you know what's worse? You had the chance to make his day better, and you chose not to. The waiter remained silent, visibly unsettled as Keanu continued, you have the opportunity to fix this now. Not just for him but for yourself. Because, in the end, how you treat people says far more about you than it does about them. Meanwhile, Anna was trying to calm Lucas at the table. She wasn't sure exactly what the man was saying to the waiter, but there was something about his presence that gave her hope. Lucas, on the other hand, kept glancing at the chair where Keanu had been sitting, trying to piece things together. When Keanu returned, he brought with him not only a new energy to the restaurant but also the promise that something was about to change. Keanu returned to Lucas and Anna's table with a calm but determined expression. He noticed Lucas still looking at him, a little confused but with eyes that now seemed a bit brighter. Anna, for her part, appeared hesitant, still trying to understand why a complete stranger, and now someone she recognized as famous, cared so much about the situation. Keanu crouched down again to Lucas's level and said, "You like hamburgers, right? So do I. How about we order together? I think it'll be more fun that way." Lucas nodded timidly and Keanu motioned for another waiter, avoiding the first, who still stood in the corner, visibly uncomfortable and embarrassed. When the new waiter arrived, Keanu looked at Lucas and said, "Do you want to place the order, or would you like me to do it for you? Either option is great." Lucas took a deep breath and, with visible effort, slowly said, "I want a hamburger with cheese and fries." Keanu beamed as if Lucas had just accomplished something extraordinary, and, in a way, he had. "Great choice. I'll have exactly the same thing as him." The waiter wrote down the orders and left, smiling genuinely at Lucas, as if he understood the significance of the moment. Gradually, the atmosphere at the table began to shift. Lucas, still shy, seemed a little more confident. Anna smiled at Keanu, full of gratitude. "I don't know how to thank you," Anna said, her voice emotional. "You didn't have to do this." Keanu shook his head, interrupting her. "I did. Because I've seen situations like this before and I know how much they can leave a mark. Sometimes all we need is someone to remind us that we matter. Lucas is an incredible kid, and the world needs to see that." As they talked, Keanu shared some stories from his own childhood, explaining how he too had faced difficult moments and situations where it felt like the world was against him. "The secret is to never let others define who you are or what you can do. Only you know what you're capable of, Lucas. And from what I see, you're braver than you realize." As the food was served, the original waiter, visibly shaken, approached the table. He looked uncomfortable, but there was something sincere in his expression. I just wanted to apologize," he said, looking directly at Lucas and Anna. "I was rude and disrespectful. There's no excuse for what I did. I just want to say that I'm truly sorry. I hope you can forgive me." Anna nodded, still slightly hesitant, but Lucas, with the sincerity only a child could show, looked at the waiter and said, "It's okay. Everyone makes mistakes." Lucas's response seemed to catch the waiter by surprise, and he thanked them before walking away. Keanu smiled, clearly proud of the boy. "That was amazing, Lucas," he said. "Forgiveness is a strength not everyone has. You're a special kid and I'm sure you'll keep surprising people." By the end of the meal, Lucas seemed transformed. He laughed shyly as Keanu made light-hearted jokes, and Anna felt her heart warm. The moment that began as a nightmare had turned into a memory they would never forget. But for Keanu, that was just part of what he planned to do. He had a bigger plan for Lucas. One that would show the boy that he wasn't just special but also capable of inspiring the world around him. The restaurant seemed calmer now, but the incident still lingered in some glances and whispers. After helping Lucas regain his confidence, Keanu felt there was still a part of the situation that needed resolution. An apology wasn't enough, it needed to bring reflection and learning. Keanu walked over to where the original waiter stood, leaning against the counter, avoiding eye contact with anyone. The actor stopped in front of him, arms crossed, his presence firm but still calm. The waiter hesitated before looking up. "Can I talk to you again?" Keanu asked, his voice calm but full of authority. "I already apologized," the waiter mumbled, clearly uncomfortable. "And that was important," Keanu replied, nodding. "But I think we need to dig a little deeper. I want you to tell me, why did you do that? Why did you treat a boy who just wanted to order his food that way?" The waiter stayed silent for a moment, nervously fidgeting with his apron. "I don't know. I guess I was stressed. The restaurant was busy and I lost my patience. I didn't think about what I was saying." I understand that the job can be hard, Keanu said, his tone devoid of judgment. But you have more power than you realize. Every person who comes here has their own battles, their own reasons for being here. And you have the chance to make their day better, or worse. What you chose to do today almost ruined that boy's day. But you also have the chance to change that. The waiter remained silent, clearly reflecting on the words. Keanu continued, Lucas is just a kid, but he has more courage and strength than many adults I know. He came here to celebrate something that was a huge effort for him. And all he needed was a little patience and kindness. That's not too much to ask, is it? The man shook his head, visibly regretful. No, it's not. I was horrible. I shouldn't have said those things. Keanu smiled, but this time there was seriousness in his eyes. Admitting you were wrong is already a good start. Now, what you do from here is what really matters. If you want, you can use this moment as a lesson to be better, not just here in the restaurant but anywhere. Because, at the end of the day, the way we treat people defines who we are. The waiter took a deep breath and nodded. I don't think I've ever thought about it like that before. But you're right. I'll do better. Thank you for saying that. Keanu placed a hand on his shoulder. We all make mistakes. The difference lies in how we respond afterward. Good luck. And remember that small acts of kindness can make a big difference. As Keanu returned to Lucas and Anna's table, the waiter seemed deep in thought, as if he'd just experienced a real moment of transformation. Lucas was laughing at something his mother said, and Keanu sat back down, satisfied to see the boys smile back. He looked at Anna and said, I think he'll think twice before acting like that again. Anna smiled back. I hope so. But even if he hasn't completely changed, you made a big difference for us today. We'll never forget this. Keanu looked at Lucas, who still seemed a little shy, but much more confident. And I'll never forget you, Lucas. Today you showed me what true courage is. The boy gave a genuine smile, and in that moment, it was as if all the difficulties he had faced were smaller than the strength within him. But Keanu knew there was still more he could do to ensure that this day wouldn't be just a fleeting moment, and he already had something special in mind. When Lucas and Anna finished their meal, the restaurant had returned to its normal rhythm. But at their table, the feeling was of something extraordinary. Lucas seemed more confident, and Anna was still surprised by the unexpected turn the day had taken. She started gathering her things, ready to pay the bill and leave, but Keanu interrupted her. Hold on a second, he said with a mysterious smile. We're not done here yet? Anna looked at him, confused. We're not done? Keanu looked at Lucas and said, Hey champ, do you like motorcycles? Lucas's eyes widened with excitement, and he nodded enthusiastically. He loved motorcycles, especially since watching a documentary about racing with his mom. Keanu chuckled at the boy's animated reaction. Great, because I want to show you something special. Anna, now more intrigued than ever, hesitated. But, Keanu, we don't want to bother you. You've already done so much for us. Keanu shook his head. Bother me? Not at all. I'd love to show this to Lucas. Trust me. Minutes later, Keanu asked them to follow him to the parking lot. There, parked in a corner, was a custom motorcycle, gleaming like a jewel under the sunlight. Lucas's jaw dropped at the sight of it. This is one of my favorite bikes, Keanu said as he crouched down next to Lucas so the boy could get a closer look. I have a huge passion for motorcycles, and I even helped build some with a company I started. I thought you might want to see one up close. Lucas touched the bike carefully, fascinated. It's amazing, he said, struggling to find the words but unable to hide his enthusiasm. Keanu then turned to Anna and, with a conspiratorial expression, said, Wait here for just a second. He went to the trunk of his car, parked nearby, and returned with a small package. Lucas, this is for you, he said, handing the package to the boy. Lucas looked at his mom, who nodded, encouraging him to open it. Inside the package was a custom child-sized helmet, with details inspired by the world of racing and a sticker that read, Believe in the impossible. Lucas could barely contain his excitement. This helmet is yours, Keanu said. I wanted to remind you that no matter what people say or the challenges you face, you can do anything, Lucas. Never let anyone tell you otherwise. Anna, emotional, wiped away a tear as she watched her son hug the helmet like it was a treasure. Keanu continued, and every time you wear this helmet, I want you to remember that you're a champion. Because only champions have the kind of courage you showed today. Lucas looked at Keanu, his eyes shining with gratitude. Thank you, he said, his voice trembling. Keanu placed a hand on the boy's shoulder. The pleasure is all mine, champ. Now go conquer the world. The moment was interrupted only by the original waiter, who appeared outside holding something in his hands. a chocolate milkshake he had brought as an additional apology. He approached slowly, handed the milkshake to Lucas and said, "I wasn't fair to you earlier. Thank you for forgiving me. I hope this helps show that I truly am sorry." Lucas accepted the milkshake with a shy smile, and the waiter walked away. It was as if Keanu's lesson had planted a seed in the man. Anna thanked Keanu again as she hugged him emotionally. "You turned a terrible day into something unforgettable. I can never repay you for this." Keanu gave her a warm smile. "There's no need to repay me. Just keep believing in him just as he believes in you. And remember, Anna, you two are amazing." As Lucas and Anna walked back to their car with the helmet in hand, Keanu stood in the parking lot watching them. He knew he had planted something special that day, a spark of hope, courage, and inspiration that would for sure continue to grow. The next morning, Anna woke up with a different feeling in her heart. The previous day had started as a nightmare, but thanks to Keanu Reeves's unexpected intervention, it had turned into one of the most memorable moments of her life. Looking at Lucas, still asleep and holding the helmet he had received, she felt full of hope, something she hadn't felt in a long time. Lucas, for his part, seemed like a different child when he woke up. His energy was renewed and he put on the helmet as soon as he got out of bed. When Anna saw him in the mirror with such a big and genuine smile, she realized something important had changed within him. He was no longer the shy boy who hesitated to speak or hid away. Now he seemed to have found a piece of his own strength. An unexpected surprise. While Anna was preparing breakfast, she received a call from an unknown number. Hesitant, she answered. On the other end of the line, a calm and familiar male voice introduced himself. It was Keanu Reeves. "Hi Anna. I hope I'm not bothering you. I just wanted to check how you and Lucas are doing today. And actually, I also wanted to extend an invitation," he said. Anna was surprised. Even after everything he had done, he was still thinking about them? "Keanu, you've already done so much for us. You really don't need to worry anymore. But we're doing very well, thank you." Lucas is beaming with happiness, "All thanks to you." Keanu laughed lightly. "I'm glad to hear that. But actually, I was wondering if you'd like to join me at a special event today. It's an exhibition of motorcycles and cars that I'll be participating in, and I thought Lucas would love it. What do you think?" Anna hesitated. She never imagined that such a famous actor could be so down-to-earth and genuine. "I'm sure Lucas would love it, but I'm not sure if we should accept. We don't want to intrude." Keanu gently interrupted her. "There's no problem at all, Anna. It's a personal invitation. Having you there would be an honor. I promise it'll be fun." Anna looked at Lucas, who was watching her with curious eyes, holding his helmet. She smiled at him. "All right. We'll go." The event. When they arrived at the event, Lucas was in awe. There were motorcycles of all types and sizes, as well as gleaming sports cars that looked like they came straight out of movies. But the biggest surprise came when they were personally greeted by Keanu, casually dressed with a warm smile. "Champion," said Keanu, crouching down to Lucas's height and lightly tapping the boy's helmet. "Are you ready for the best day of your life?" Lucas nodded enthusiastically, unable to hide his excitement. Keanu took them on a special tour of the event, showing some of the motorcycles he had personally helped design. He explained the technical details of each model to Lucas, who listened intently, fascinated. For the first time, Lucas seemed completely at ease, interacting without fear or shyness. The most emotional moment came when Keanu led Lucas to a reserved area. There, a personalized children's motorcycle was parked, decorated with vibrant colors and stickers that seemed tailor-made for Lucas. "This is for you, Lucas," Keanu said, smiling. Anna was speechless and Lucas, in shock, almost dropped his helmet. To me," he stammered. "Yes," Keanu confirmed. "You showed yesterday that you're a true champion, and I think a champion like you deserves something special. This motorcycle is yours. We'll teach you how to ride it. What do you think?" Lucas looked at his mom as if asking for permission. Anna, with tears in her eyes, nodded. "This is incredible. Thank you, Keanu," Lucas said, his voice filled with emotion. Lucas's transformation. Keanu and an instructor from the event spent much of the day teaching Lucas how to ride the motorcycle. The boy started off slowly, but as he gained confidence, the joy on his face became undeniable. He laughed, shouted, and celebrated every small victory. Anna watched the scene with her heart overflowing with emotion. She could hardly believe that the same shy, withdrawn boy from just days ago was now so full of life and energy. Later, as the event was winding down, Keanu gathered Lucas and Anna for a special photo next to the motorcycle. He posted the photo on his social media with the caption, "Today I met a true champion. Never underestimate the power of courage and kindness. The post quickly went viral, with thousands of people praising Lucas and Keanu's actions. Messages of support for Lucas began pouring in from all over the world. A new beginning. In the days that followed, Lucas's life changed completely. He received invitations from support groups for children with similar challenges, who wanted to meet him and share their stories. Schools and local communities began discussing inclusion and respect, using Lucas's story as an example. Anna, for her part, felt like a huge weight had been lifted off her shoulders. She saw in her son a confidence she had never seen before. He was more communicative, more willing to face challenges, and above all, happier. Keanu, despite being busy with his commitments, continued to send occasional messages to check on how Lucas was doing. He became a sort of long-distance mentor, always encouraging the boy to believe in himself. One afternoon, while Lucas was practicing on his motorcycle in their backyard, he stopped and looked at his mom. "Mom, do you think I can be like Keanu one day?" Anna smiled, crouching down to his height. "Lucas, you already are like him. Because being like Keanu isn't about being famous or having amazing motorcycles. It's about being kind, brave, and never giving up even when things get tough. And all of that, my love, you already are." Lucas grinned widely, putting on his helmet. "Then I guess I'm a champion, right?" Anna hugged him. "You always were." That day, as Lucas rode his motorcycle around the yard, Anna looked up at the sky and gave thanks for the unexpected turn her life had taken. She knew there were still challenges ahead, but she also knew that, together, they could overcome anything. And it all started because one man saw an injustice and decided to act.